Kia ora Rotorua tonight on City News. Labour MP Steve Chadwick says the 2011 budget lacked courage and vision. Rheumatic fever prevention campaign launched in the Bay, and the Rugby World Cup finals in 3D at cinemas throughout the country. Those stories and more in detail tonight on City News. Rotorua MP Steve Chadwick says that Labour is going into this year's general election with the message of shared burden in these tight economic times. Steve Chadwick says she agrees that we are in hard times, but accuses the national government of economic mismanagement, and she says last week's annual budget lacked courage and vision.
Yes, well, it did lack courage and it did lack vision. Look, the country needed a shot in the arm. They needed a clear direction and they needed to know what National was going to stand for. All we saw were cuts that will hurt and won't heal New Zealand, and that is really worrying to us. We know a budget is about how you make your choices, about where revenue will come to the Crown. But the choices made in this budget clearly kept tax cuts for the wealthy. So 40% of the tax cuts went to the top 10% income earners, and they didn't touch that. Now we say it's about balancing so that everybody pays their fair share.
Steve Chadwick says Labour is going into this year's election with a firm commitment not to sell state assets and to raise the minimum wage to $15. Unison is disappointed that it will not be partnering with the government to deliver its ultra-fast broadband to Rotorua homes. The news comes on the back of the government's decision to award the majority of the ultra-fast broadband contract to telecom company Chorus. Unison Fibre was already well advanced with over 140 kilometres of fibre rolled out across Hawke's Bay, Taupo and Rotorua, and Group Chief Executive Ken Sutherland says Unison is disappointed they will not be partnering with the government. Mr Sutherland has also stated that Unison still remains committed to a targeted delivery of open access fibre networks to business, local government, health and educational institutions. Another important step towards reducing rheumatic fever among Bay of Plenty children has been taken, with the launch of school-based throat swabbing in Kawerau. Led by Eastern Bay Primary Health Alliance and supported by the Bay of Plenty District Health Board and Toi Te Ora, the program involves community health workers asking children if they have a sore throat and offering a throat swab as required. The rheumatic fever prevention campaign was first launched in Opotiki, and due to the success of this project, similar campaigns have been established in Kawerau and Murupara, which experience high rates of rheumatic fever. Rheumatic fever often starts with a sore throat. A few weeks later, the child may develop sore or swollen joints, skin rash, fever, stomach pain and jerky movements. Although these symptoms may disappear, the heart valves may be damaged, and this damage can be permanent. A child diagnosed with rheumatic fever requires long-term follow-up, including monthly injections of penicillin to stop further attacks. Fortunately, rheumatic fever is preventable, provided sore throats are treated correctly. If your child complains of a sore throat, take them to the local health centre to be checked. The Rotorua winners of Saturday's $10.6 million lotto prize have come forward to claim their winnings. The family syndicate, who regularly buy lotto tickets together, claimed their prize at the New Zealand Lottery's Wellington office yesterday after a long, sleepless night. The syndicate had won a Division 5 prize 3 weeks ago and decided to reinvest their $37 winnings in Saturday's winning Power Dip ticket. A member of the syndicate commented that the win was a dream come true and the proceeds would help pay off mortgages and clear credit cards. In sport tonight, Rotorua rugby fans got the chance yesterday to experience the 3D technology that will bring coverage of Rugby World Cup 2011 finals to life. The semi-finals and finals of Rugby World Cup will be shown for the first time in 3D at cinemas throughout the country, and the screenings are being touted as the next best thing to being at the game. Co-owner of 3D Live, Carl Shute, says 3D technology is finally coming to the fore and he wants to make sure New Zealand is 2 steps ahead in the game.
We'd like to start the 3D industry, getting it off to a really great start. We have the world leaders in 3D technology down in Wellington with Peter Jackson's company. They're doing groundbreaking stuff with 3D. But they're doing it for the international market, and there's nothing really happening else in New Zealand. So what we want to do is we want to try and start an industry. We want to try and futurize New Zealand as a way. So what we're trying to do is we're doing 3D. We're trying to do the technology past that, which is 3D without glasses. We're trying to do the technology past that, which is holograms. We already do those now, but we're trying to stay 2 steps ahead and bring the future to New Zealand.
Tickets for the 3D screening of the Rugby World Cup finals are on sale through Ticketmaster and Ticket Direct. To weather now, tonight, light rain, northerlies strengthening, overnight a low of 12. Tomorrow Thursday, rain, some heavy, gusty northerlies, a high of 18 and a low of 12. Outlook for Friday, rain ease into showers, southwest change, a high of 17 and a low of 8. Marine forecast for Lake Rotorua tomorrow, Thursday. Northeast rising to 30 knots, changing northwest 15 knots at night. Waves rising to 1 metre. Rain heavy at times with poor visibility. If you've missed any of tonight's bulletin, you can watch it again by going to tv.rotorua.co.nz and click on the View Latest City News link. Or to view what's on in our city, click on the Upcoming Events link. Still to come in tonight's programme, we hear from Cornel Durand, the man in charge when the pink terraces were rediscovered. Labour MP Steve Chadwick gives us her take on last week's budget, and Vivian Witt tells us about the National Blood Pressure Campaign.